The Pittsburgh Steelers make a second trade on trade deadline day. Hello, Pittsburgh Steelers fans, and welcome to this video from your Pittsburgh Steelers Syndicate with me, your host, Britsburgh, Owen, speaking to you here in the UK. Guys, it has been a busy trade deadline day, hasn't it? Right across the NFL, pretty crazy overall. Lots of deals going through. TJ Hockenson going from the Lions to the Vikings. Bradley Chubb been traded away from the Denver Broncos, obviously yesterday. Roquan Smith going from the Bears to the Ravens. Smith is someone I would love to have seen come to the Steelers. But news today that the Pittsburgh Steelers have made a second trade, this time a trade into the organization, from the Washington Commanders. So this is this is the news. Here we go. The Steelers aren't done. They are finalizing a trade for Commanders cornerback Will Jackson III for some help for their defense. Now, in case that name does ring a bell for you, it may well ring a bell for you, might it? Who can remember back to 2016 when Artie Burns was selected because William Jackson III was the cornerback the Steelers actually wanted, but he was taken by the Bengals. So, second trade of the day, obviously the one for Chase Claypool. If you hang around to the end of the video, I'll give you my opinion on the Claypool trade, which is very different to Mr. Steelers Nation Australia. But yeah, so William Jackson III is coming to the Steelers. Now, what are the terms of the deal? Well, according to Albert Breer, full team terms on the Commanders Steelers trade. Steelers get cornerback William Jackson and a 2025 7th round pick. In return, the Commanders get a 2025 6th round pick. So really nothing at all, which indicates, as we mentioned in our trade column Saturday, Jackson was likely gone from DC, whether a trade was done or not. There were rumors earlier in the day that Washington were set to actually cut Jackson, if no trade had taken place today. But obviously, I think, a 7th for a 6th, it's not a big trade. Obviously, it's not a big loss of draft picks for the Steelers. So, not an absolute disaster at all. The only sort of proviso you put over this move is that William Jackson III has suffered from a back injury this year, which has limited his snaps and limited his games this year, and also much hampered his performance as well. That is obviously something of a concern coming into the organization, given the fact that our cornerbacks have been very much injury prone this year. This may be a move that is in response to the poor display by Ahkello Witherspoon at the weekend, where AJ Brown really did make a fool out of him. William Jackson III has played for the Cincinnati Bengals and the Washington Commanders. Obviously, 2017 was his first season. He played 15 games, started 5, 1 interceptions, 1 touchdown, 14 passes defensed in that year. 27 combined tackles, breaks down to 21-6, 1 tackle for loss, 1 QB hit. His second season, he started all 16 games, didn't have any interceptions, but he had 13 passes defensed in a very poor Bengals team. 41 tackles, which breaks down as 34-7, 2 tackles for a loss. 2019 again. This time he had played for 13 of 16 games, starting 13 of them. He had 1 interception, 3 passes defense. That obviously fell off from the previous year. In 2020, he started and played 14 games. And then in recent seasons, as you can see, his production in terms of his number of games played has fallen off. 12 in 2021 and 4 so far this season. This season's stats are not that impressive. 2 passes defensed, 16 combined tackles, which breaks down as 15 solo, 1 assisted, and 1 tackle for a loss. Terrell Austin actually worked with Jackson during his time in Cincinnati, and Austin has spoken about his hope that he can get Jackson to return to the early form that he showed at the start of his NFL career. So the Steelers hopefully are obviously seeking to put right what they missed out on at the start of when they first tried to draft him back in the 2016-20. Obviously, an interesting move by the Pittsburgh Steelers to bolster that cornerback room. Does this spell the end of Ahkello Witherspoon's time? It's an interesting move given the fact that obviously the Steelers have Wallace, Witherspoon, and Sutton. I wouldn't really describe William Jackson III as a lockdown cornerback 1, which is what the Steelers really do need, I feel, to really improve the secondary. I think he's more of a cornerback 2 or a 2A. Again, fitting in with the 3 that we already have. It's an okay trade. Issue obviously is that he has an $18 million cap hit, which I think obviously will have to be moved around for the Steelers to come in under the cap. And should he be re-signed next season, he would be very, very expensive indeed. That's obviously something that he's going to obviously prove that he's worth that contract. Obviously, the other move that's gone through today is the trading of Chase Claypool to the Chicago Bears for a second-round pick. Whilst the second-round pick is nice, I think the trading of Chase Claypool is a huge mistake, given the fact that Claypool has made steps forward in the last few games and has played a lot better. Given the fact that the offense is struggling to trade away a weapon and not replace it, given the fact that Calvin Austin III was placed on season-ending IR, and the fact that Deontay Johnson often does fail to show up in big games, leaving the weight to be on the likes of George Pickens. Obviously after Pickens and Johnson, you are now down to Steven Sims, Miles Boykin, Gunnar Olszewski. None of those receivers really would strike fear into the hearts of the opposition. They are not really what I would call high quality NFL wide receivers. So for me, I think this is a bad move. I would have held on until Claypool to the end of the season. I think you probably could have got, given the way Claypool is playing at this moment in time, you probably could have got that second round pick at the end of this season and not removed the weapon from the Steelers. I think it's a bad move. I think it is to show the inexperience of Omar Khan in terms of player trading. And like I said, I think my personal opinion, which I know is different from Mark's, is it is a shocking move by the Pittsburgh Steelers. Anyway, guys, let me know in the comments below what you think of the Jackson trade and the Claypool trade. And remember, if you've just found the Pittsburgh Steelers Syndicate, hit that sub, ring that notification bell, and come and join the Pittsburgh Steelers Syndicate family. Thanks for watching. Here we go, Steelers. Come on.